verses in the Bible is the 13th chapter of Romans, where it talks about let every person be subject to a higher authority. And if you read that verse, it talks about you have nothing to fear from the power if you're doing nothing wrong. They're there for your protection. So law enforcement is ordained by God. If I got preachers here, I have to be careful what I say, because they but it's ordained by God. We have to be obedient to the authority. We do. But a lot of people, again, you want to resist the power. And if you read that chapter, when you resist, there's some consequences that's going to happen. But if you're doing right, you have nothing to fear from law enforcement. I tell the young men, if you're walking down the street and you're doing right, you see the police, wave at it and go on about your business, because you're doing nothing wrong. Law enforcement officers conduct 3 types of stops, and if you've ever been stopped or you get stopped by law enforcement, you're going to fall into one of these 3 categories. You have what is called a casual encounter. You may be in the store, walking out, the officer stops you, and if you don't want to talk to him, you ask him, am I free to go? If he said, yeah, you're free to go, that's a casual encounter. He speaks to you, you speaks to him, but you're always free to go. That's the first stop. It's a casual encounter. He may see you walking down the street. How you doing? It's casual. There's no interaction if you don't want it. The second kind of stop is a detention. Now, if you can see that little fella, I thought about it. I said, now, why would the officer stop him on his little motorcycle with training wheel? But the detention stop is when the officer has reasonable suspicion. Reasonable suspicion. That's when an officer suspects a person has been involved in a certain crime, he's about to be involved in a certain crime, or he has done a certain crime. A detention, he stops you. You're not really free to go until he finishes his investigation and he determines that you have not done something, about to do it, you're not the suspect. At that point, in a detention, he can conduct what is called a terrorist stop. If I'm walking, I have a bulge like this, well, he can pat the outer portions of my garment all the way down, but if it feels like a weapon, then he can take it a little further. This is when it's a terrorist stop, a detention, but he can't do that on a casual stop. Then you have what is called the arrest, and if you're at this point, well, it's a little too late. He has probable cause. He has enough evidence to where he is going to handcuff you and take you to jail. He has PC, reasonable ground to believe that you, the accused person, is the subject of an investigation. And if you get away, then that's when they have enough to get a warrant on you. And a lot of times, we don't understand this, but if you get a criminal record, that poses a barrier to you getting housed in an apartment. When you fill out an application, it asks, are you a convicted felon? Are you a convicted felon? You answer yes. They do not have to give you an apartment, a house. And it's almost like it's geared toward a certain type of person, these applications. But it also, a criminal record, now I have to choose my words closely when I talk, because I don't want to appear to be prejudiced, because a lot of experiences that I've had in law enforcement and a lot of things that I've seen, it's geared toward our race of people. And again, I can't treat everybody the same, but I can definitely treat everybody right. But you need to know what your rights are when you are on the streets, what your laws are, how to interact with law enforcement. But it creates, again, a legal barrier that stops you from getting a house. It stops you from getting employment. And that's why a lot of young males come out of the prison system and they're not able to get employment because, again, the question on the application is, have you ever been convicted of a felony? You answer yes, and then that's another barrier. I was talking and I said, do you know that law enforcement officers has to be courteous to you? I said they can't curse you, they can't make gestures, they can't be violent, and it can be rude to you. And one young man stood up and said, I see that all the time. Well, there's an avenue that you can take when it happens. This rule 100.49, courtesy, that is a rule that's on the book and within the Shreveport police officers, where it says that an officer shall be tactful in the performance of his, I like to say, of his or her duty. They have to control their temper. You can't provoke them to get mad. And just because you curse them, they don't supposed to curse you. But again, I said you start out on the same level. If you take it here, he's not going to take it here, she's not going to take it here. They're going to take it a step higher. But there are rules, and when these rules are broken, there's avenues. A lot of people think that if I report a police officer for misconduct, nothing is going to happen to him or her. That is not true. Those days are gone. With technology, the phones with video cameras, everybody has them. Everybody has them, everybody uses them. But a lot of times we use them in the wrong way. But that rule, I enforced that rule when I was in administration with the police department, because one of my pet peeves was rudeness to the citizen. You just could not be rude. And I would come and look at an officer's video. They're all wired for sound. They all have video, all of them. And if you file a complaint saying an officer was rude, and the first thing the supervisor does is look at the video. If there's no video, it's already strike one against the officer. But we don't use these avenues because I said, knowledge is power. We don't know. Nobody never told us. Nobody never told us. When you come in contact or stopped by law enforcement, I tell anybody, be polite, respectful, and calm. A lot of times you can't do that. Even me, when a blue light, red light get behind me, my heart starts skipping a beat, and I have to realize, wait a minute, I'm law enforcement. I don't have no reason to fear. But it's something about those blue and red lights getting behind you that makes you nervous. But if you can be polite, respectful, and calm, you can, a lot of times, you can change the outcome of the situation. A pretty good determination, if you ever stop, whether you're about to get a ticket, look at the officer's hand. If you get out and he does not have a ticket book, I used to do that. I haven't determined whether I'm going to write that ticket until I talk to you.